In the shadow-laden corridors where Europe whispers its secrets, a secretly wealthy dynasty not merely occupies but commands the continent's destiny. And their lineage, blurring the lines of mere blood and heritage, has morphed into an invisible empire, molding the future of Europe's economic titan. Vast beyond ordinary measure, this old money family's empire, an intricate web of conglomerates and institutions, boasts a market capitalization that staggers the imagination, at least $200 billion. And, perhaps even more shockingly, their mammoth empire employs 1 million people, woven into the fabric of a family-owned business whose size is as astonishing as its secrecy. At the heart of this enigmatic realm lies Investor AB, a crown jewel that, since its debut on the public stage in 1916, has become a monolith of wealth multiplication. And its financial returns are the stuff of legend, turning the mere act of investment into an art form, over 100,000 times the initial stake. A compounded annual crescendo of 12.5% that sings of unyielding acumen and far-reaching vision. Furthermore, in the 1970s, this dynasty's financial acumen absolutely dominated one of Europe's most illustrious countries, gripping an amazing 40% of Sweden's industrial labor force. In today's episode, we'll help you step forward, if you dare, into their world, featuring the good, the bad, and the luxury of this dynasty we describe, the Wallenbergs, the secret wealthy family that owns Europe. In order to best experience our journey into the depths of European power and intrigue, let us first plunge into the world of the Wallenberg family's crown jewel, Skandinaviska Enskilda Banken, or SEB. This Swedish bank isn't merely a financial institution. It's a shadowy titan wielding vast influence across the continent by offering both traditional banking services like wealth management and corporate financing, and in shaping economic destinies. Indeed, it crafts the fates of companies through its strategic issuance of stocks and bonds, and its loans are lifelines that enable businesses to expand or simply survive. And while it shares the stage with other Swedish giants such as Swedbank or Nordea, SEB is uniquely intertwined with the industrial sectors, its tentacles stretching deep into the international financial landscape. Thus, at the Wallenbergs' SEB, fortunes are made and lost, and the stability of entire economies can depend on the bank's strategic whims. Beyond the marbled halls of finance, the Wallenberg influence extends into darker, more formidable realms. Atlas Copco, another facet of their empire, stands as a colossus in the industrial and defense sectors. From air compressors that breathe life into countless machines to mining equipment that extracts the Earth's riches, Atlas Copco rivals other industry leaders like Germany's Bosch or Sweden's Sandvik. And with its advanced technology, Atlas Copco ensures that factories across the continent run with precision and efficiency, vital cogs in the machinery of Europe's economy. But it is perhaps Saab, as the most recognizable household name, as it were, helmed by the Wallenbergs, that we can learn the most about their enigmatic influence. Once celebrated for its automobiles, Saab has undergone a dramatic transformation to emerge as a linchpin in Europe's defense architecture. No longer just a car manufacturer, Saab has ascended to become a premier defense contractor, arming nations with a formidable arsenal that includes the sleek Gripen fighter jets, cutting-edge radar systems, and sophisticated electronic warfare equipment. And Saab's influence transcends the mere provision of military hardware. It actively shapes the military strategies and national security policies throughout Europe. By equipping nations with advanced defense technology, Saab not only determines their combat readiness, but also their geopolitical stature, enabling them to navigate international waters from a position of undeniable strength. Thus, the Wallenberg family's dominion over banking, manufacturing, and even military defense are all symbols of their vast influence, a shadow cast across Europe that rivals the might of dynasties such as the modern Rothschilds. But how did the Wallenberg family ascend to such dizzying heights? To unravel this mystery, we must journey back to 17th century Sweden, where the family's saga began. because it is within this historical context, full of cunning strategies and pivotal decisions, that we find the origins of their extraordinary rise in finance, industry, and politics. In the grand design of Swedish heritage, the Wallenberg family commands a distinct and august position. Their story stretches back to the fog-shrouded dawn of the late 17th century, when Per Hansen joined his fate with that of Kerstin Jakobsdotter Schutt in 1692. And from this union emerged a lineage that would carve its name deeply into the core of Swedish identity. Their son, Jakob Persson Wahlberg, set a significant precedent by modifying their last name to Wallenberg, a move that charted a course for his descendants. Now the name Wallenberg, melding the elements of wall and berg, the Swedish word for mountain, speaks to an enduring robustness and steadfast base, mirroring the family's illustrious history. Therefore, this name conjures an image of a dynasty not merely founded on the solid grounds of banking and commerce, but also one that has climbed the peaks of political sway and philanthropic activities across Sweden. Furthermore, the Wallenberg story is tightly woven with the economic and financial history of Sweden itself. And their journey took a decisive twist with André Oscar Wallenberg, who in 1856 laid the cornerstone of the aforementioned Stockholm Enskilda Bank, or SEB, planting the seeds for a financial dynasty that would emerge as a backbone of Swedish banking. André Oscar, however, was not one to limit his ambitions to the financial realm. From 1853 to 1863, as a prominent member of the Riksdag of the Estates, he cast a long shadow over Sweden's halls of power, masterminding critical reforms that introduced the metric system, reshaped banking legislation, and anchored the gold standard. And his pervasive influence in Stockholm's municipal government and numerous economic committees revealed a relentless pursuit of control through practical and financial reforms. Following in his father's footsteps, André's son, Knut Wallenberg, didn't simply inherit his role at SEB, he seized it with gusto. And in 1916, with a cunning that was as sharp as it was discreet, he founded Investor AB. This audacious venture skirted the constrictive laws that barred banks from holding industrial shares, cleverly linking the might of Swedish industry to the pulsing lifeblood of French capital markets. In doing so, Knut thus bolstered Sweden's prestige on the grand chessboard of international finance. Next, born into this potent lineage in 1912, Raoul Wallenberg took the Wallenberg mantle and turned it towards a nobler cause. With a degree in architecture from the University of Michigan and a stint in business upon his return to Sweden, Raoul was soon tapped by the US War Refugee Board in June 1944. And his mission was urgent and grave: to rescue Hungarian Jews from the clutches of the Holocaust. Arriving in Budapest on the 9th of July that year, he launched one of the most audacious rescue operations of the Holocaust era. Now, Raoul's methods blended valor with ingenuity. He issued protective passports and set up more than 30 safe houses across Budapest, thereby extending an invisible shield of Swedish sovereignty over those huddled within. These sanctuaries were beacons in the night, offering respite from the dark tide of deportation. And Raoul himself often plunged into the fray, wrenching Jews from the grasp of deportation trains and standing firm against the tide of Nazi oppression. His actions, though theatrical, saved countless lives amid the inferno of war. Yet while Raoul Wallenberg is revered for his acts of salvation among Hungary's Jews during the Second World War, the business engagements of his family weave a more disquieting tale. And his uncles, Jacob and Marcus Wallenberg, stewarded the helm of Stockholm's Enskilda Bank, embroiled in dealings that cast a long shadow over their legacy. For example, declassified documents from the United States outline the bank's role in black market operations, money laundering, and the cloaking of German investments on American soil. These involvements extended to repurchasing German securities held by the US, bolstering the Nazi regime's economy during the height of global conflict. Further inquiry by Dutch historians Gerard Alders and Cees Wiebes paints an even grimmer picture, revealing the bank's acquisitions of assets expropriated from Jews by the Nazi regime. The bank's ties were deeply entrenched with giants like IG Farben and Bosch, underpinning the Nazi war effort and even extended to funding research for the Nazi atomic project. These revelations disclose a tangled mesh of corporate interests and a veneer of wartime neutrality, starkly contrasting Raoul Wallenberg's heroic crusade during the Holocaust. Yet it is critical for us to note that Marcus Wallenberg Jr. transcended the dark reputation of a mere Third Reich collaborator. Dubbed by historian Ronald Fagerfjell as Europe's most powerful banker of the 20th century, Marcus's influence reverberated well beyond the confines of Sweden, shaping the contours of European finance. Amid these towering legacies, the personal tribulations within the Wallenberg family added a poignant layer of personal tragedy. For example, Marcus Wallenberg Sr.'s son, Mark Wallenberg, had a life that was deeply scarred by familial conflicts, though it was also marked by significant professional achievements. And the senior Wallenberg's commanding presence and strategic decisions, particularly the contentious merger proposal with Skandinaviska Banken in the late 1960s and early 1970s, became a fulcrum of discord. Mark perceived this merger as a mortal threat to the Wallenberg dominion, a view supported vehemently by his uncle, Jacob Wallenberg. This domestic tumult reached its zenith on a fateful day, the 19th of November 1971. Overwhelmed by the dual burdens of his role and the relentless confrontations with his father, Mark's despair drove him to a tragic end near Lake Orlongen, ostensibly caused by his own decision to no longer continue on this earth. His inert body, found beside his car, not only signified a personal catastrophe, but also coincided with the birthday of the family's patriarch, André Oskar Wallenberg, enveloping the day in a pall of sorrow. Thus, these days, as the mantle and stewardship of the Wallenberg family passes from one generation to the next, the pressure of living up to an illustrious, if tragic and controversial legacy, persists for each patriarch. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper into the modern Wallenberg's successes and controversies. In the discreet chambers where the world's elite converge, the Wallenberg family is a prominent force, known as much for their philanthropic endeavors as for their sharp business acumen. Yet, it is their less visible role in global policy shaping that often sparks hushed conversations among those in the know. The Wallenbergs' influence extends deeply into the Bilderberg meetings, an annual gathering established in 1954, which is unlike typical conferences. Here, influential figures from across the globe meet to discuss topics that remain confidential, away from public scrutiny and media coverage. And this secrecy feeds a fertile breeding ground for conspiracy theories, suggesting that these meetings are less about casual discussion and more about covertly steering global politics. Even more harrowingly, the aforementioned patriarch, Marcus Wallenberg Jr., was deeply involved with the Bilderberg Group, participating in their secretive meetings on the so-called steering committee 22 times until just before his death in 1981. And his grandsons, Marcus and Jacob Wallenberg, have taken up similar roles on the steering committee, indicating the family's persistent influence over global economic and policy directions. And the controversy around Wallenberg influence took another notable turn with the 2018 Telia incident. Attempting to expand their television empire in Sweden and Finland through Telia Company, they faced a significant barrier from the European Union's competition authorities. This obstacle highlighted not only the breadth of the Wallenbergs' influence, but also sparked demands for increased regulation of powerful conglomerates. Yet, their influence is also evident in European policy making, where they have been accused of molding policies to favor their corporate interests, such as Ericsson, particularly evident in negotiations concerning the EU's digital single market strategy. This has prompted concerns over potential conflicts of interest and the advantages that the family's connections may offer in policy arenas. Moreover, allegations of nepotism have surfaced, with critics suggesting that the Wallenbergs maintain a grip on Sweden's industrial giants through family ties rather than merit. This practice raises questions about the integrity of a business environment that seems to favor a powerful few at the expense of many. Despite these controversies, the Wallenbergs continue to maneuver through the complexities of international business and politics with a blend of traditional discretion and modern business strategies. They therefore represent a paradox in visibility. While their business dealings are often in the public eye, the full extent of their influence remains obscured, leaving many to speculate about the true reach of their power. However, the Wallenbergs' reach is not limited to secretive dealing on policy, and they excel in forging strong alliances with some of Europe's prominent families and political figures. For instance, their connections with the Agnelli family, proprietors of Fiat Chrysler and the Juventus Football Club, have spurred profitable initiatives in the automotive and sports sectors. Similarly, their collaboration with the Bettencourt family, major stakeholders in L'Oréal, has spawned strategic investments and business ventures. Indeed, these alliances are strategic masterstrokes, amplifying the Wallenbergs' influence across various industries. Through these extensive networks of influence and partnership, the Wallenbergs don't just engage in the European economic and political arena, they lead it, and they have transformed their family name into a symbol of strategy, sustainability, and dominance in the realm of influence. However, more positively, the Wallenbergs stand as titans not only in realms of economic and political influence, but also in their profound commitment to philanthropy and their charitable endeavors, anchored by institutions like the Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation, position them among Europe's most significant private benefactors of scientific exploration. Their philanthropic investments significantly enhance Swedish research across medicine, technology, and the natural sciences, shining a light on the potential for scientific breakthroughs and advancement. This dedication not only highlights their commitment to societal progress, but also enhances their up-and-down public image, often overshadowing any critique about their power or wealth. Thus, the respect and appreciation they garner from these acts of giving add a layer of public trust and admiration to their profile, and in comparison with other global philanthropic players, the Wallenbergs carve out a unique stance. Take, for instance, the Rockefellers across the Atlantic, known for their substantial contributions to public health and the arts. In contrast, the Wallenbergs focus their philanthropy on scientific research and education, demonstrating a commitment to pushing the frontiers of knowledge and innovation, arguably matching or surpassing the societal impact of the Rockefeller initiatives. Back in Europe, when set against other storied yet controversial families like the Rothschilds, the Wallenbergs' philanthropic efforts particularly shine. While the Rothschilds spread their charitable efforts across a broad array of causes, the Wallenbergs concentrate their philanthropy with laser focus on science and education. This strategic concentration of resources not only magnifies their impact in these areas, but also sets a benchmark for targeted philanthropy, leading to more profound and measurable advancements in their chosen sectors. Such strategic philanthropy ensures that every krona invested by the Wallenbergs is not just a donation, but an investment in future innovations that could reshape industries and improve lives. Thus, the Wallenberg legacy, integral to Sweden's prosperity and the bolstering of European industry, is a tale of profound contrasts. On one hand, they are a fine example of Scandinavian ingenuity and foresight, additionally being celebrated for their discreet heroism during the Holocaust. Conversely, they are equally scrutinized for secretive dealings with Nazi forces and covert manipulations within elusive power circles in the 21st century with murky origins. This complex history paints a family both revered for its contributions and questioned for its hidden agendas, illustrating a legacy defined by bold contrasts. And now, we'd like to see you in the comments. Are you familiar with the Wallenbergs and their immense influence? And what is your opinion of families such as theirs? Your comments are the source of our inspiration to continue making videos on this channel, so don't be shy and please let us know your thoughts below. We look forward to hearing from you, and thanks again for joining us for another episode of Old Money Luxury. Cheers, until next time.